What's up, everybody? I'm the Sonoran Desert Grower. Today, I've typed in rainwater harvesting food forest. Let's see what comes up. Let's see if we get better results. Let's see what this is about.
Greetings, family. Much love. What's up? Jesse Tree here. Just wanted to bring you. We kind of created the bed and.
All right, I'm seeing mulch. And let's see what's going on here.
Made those swales, gave it some wood mulch and some feed, and we're gonna develop this area out here with some more rainwater harvesting basins and a guild planting over time. And we put in this trail with wood chips.
So far, I'm liking this. This is pretty good. This is simple. It looks like it's working.
Starting the process of slowing down the water all over the site. You have a little swale here.
And this is a perfect example how a simple swale where a berm, swale, basin can completely change an area. But just by slowing down the water a little bit and spraying it throughout the site.
We're going to plant nitrogen fixing overstory tree of black locust. And then moving up here into the swales we created some time ago. We're starting to, all of the cover crop we sowed in terms of wheat, buckwheat.
So this is a more riparian area than where I live. This looks like New Mexico or the high desert.
And vetch is starting to come. We included the Gamble oak as part of this guild because we have these acorns that come off of it that are super high nutrient source. Indigenous people in the area and more over in like places like California utilize the acorn for as much as 85.
So in certain areas in Arizona and New Mexico, you can grow acorns like this, and it's a really great strategy. He looks like he's in kind of a woodlandy part of the drylands.
5% of the diet. So here we have an overstory of the native guild of pinon, juniper, and oak. So we've worked that into our swale system here. You can see swales we've created down low. We're building soil with vetch and buckwheat, planting out trees, fruit trees, and corn and such. And that's basically going to be the seed corn for next year.
That's pretty cool. You gotta grow corn in a good block for genetic diversity.
Now transformed to capture storm drainage, runoff, infiltrate it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right here. This is real water harvesting. There's contours. There's an attempt to slow down the rainwater. You can see how it's sloped like that. And they're slowing down the water, spreading it.
It's inoculated with wood chips, mycorrhizal fungi. We laid down straw, biochar. Fun to see how things are greening up here. It's such a blessing to be able to connect with the land and create a positive benefit and positive impact. Understanding more how to work together, work with the land, and realize that it is a matter of national security. If there is a peach, and then down here there's a locust, and this is a, what do we got? I forget here. Yellow transplant. Yellow transplant. Oh, it's an apple. So yeah, we'll have this overstory tree nitrogen fixer with the understory of fruit trees. Under that we have things like, this is buffalo berry.
And I like how all of the water needy plants are on irrigation. This is an irrigation grid. So so far so good. There's not tons of fruit trees. There's an emphasis on what seem to be native food producing trees. And they're obviously in an area that is gonna get more rainwater because there's big trees. This is a woody area.
There's currant down there. There's sumac. There's serviceberry, and those would be like the understory guild. And then we'll plant in with it the blue corn, you know, beans, squash, nitrogen fixers, and this is going to be part of their foodscape. We're going to shore this up with swales and create a nice infiltration basin here where we're going to plant hardy pecan. And then stepping through to this side, this is the parking lot for their tenant. That's the cabin that they rent out. So if you need a place to live, contact me on this page, and if you're in the New Mexico area, Albuquerque area, and I can connect you.
Yeah, I knew it was New Mexico. It looked a lot like New Mexico. So yeah, that was cool. That wasn't too bad. Let's see what this is about. So I like how they have a tutorial and they have chapters. Let's check it out.
Dialogue, that's a story that's not being told in our society, and there's some small murmurings right now about being neutral, like net neutral housing and xeriscaping, but nobody's really talking about how positive we can be. Nobody's really talking about what happens when we start working with nature instead of against.
I agree with everything he said. These conversations are not happening. Harvesting rainwater and working with native plants is not really happening. I think that's where he's going. Let's see.
And this project has really showcased the strength of working with that partnership for us.
For me, it really comes, one of the fundamental reasons is our children. And showing our children there's a different way, there's a better way that we can live on this planet, meet our needs, but not only meet our needs, improve the ecosystem at the same time.
I have also found that with my children, they love eating stuff from the garden. It definitely is true.
We built a rain tank that I'm standing on right now, which is built into the patio, so that we could harvest the rain coming off of this outdoor kitchen roof, as well as this rear hip roof right here. So this tank itself is 3,000 liters, and we built it into the ground. So it's actually...
So these underground tanks are amazing. If you can afford to do this, you should definitely do it, because you can store large capacities of rainwater in them.
We built out a pond liner, some culverts, and the patio itself actually enhances that water harvesting effect because it's sloped down towards the drain right here. So this drain is on a slope and angles back towards this side of the tank. The main reason for wanting to store this water is we noticed that our passive solar greenhouse was consuming an enormous amount of city water on an annual basis. So we really wanted to try and reduce that or eliminate it if possible. And this year we haven't had to use a drop of city water for the passive solar greenhouse. So this little...
I wonder where they're at where they're getting that much water. That's a lot of water.
Sump pump gets turned on when we need it, and it pressurizes this little green hose that's coming out of the tank, which brings the water around into the greenhouse where we water our wicking beds. So on this side of the house we have...
So it's a pretty simple solution. Those pumps can be found at many places.
About another 20,000 liters that comes off this roof annually. All the water gets collected into that eaves trough and down into this downspout here, which actually comes underneath the stairs and into this feature which most people just walk right by. They don't even realize there's a little micro pond right here. It's actually a tire pond. And out of it, we've got some wetland plants that we've collected from around the bio.
Yeah, so he has to be in an area where you could have ponds in a tire. So this is what's cool about looking up videos, is that it shows you that people in other places where they do have water, it's still beneficial to harvest rainwater and have that be your step number one. And this guy's entire property is the foundation is rainwater harvesting.
Bioregion. And the beautiful thing with wetland plants is that they naturally clean the water. They provide weed-free mulch, which can go straight on the garden at the end of the year. But also we've noticed that there's all sorts of beneficial insects that will go in and actually come in for a drink. So we really wanted to create a good environment for the beneficial insects in our garden. This pond will overflow in a rain event, and it overflows into the swale trail, which I'm standing on right now. The swale trail also has a weeping tile going through the bottom of it. And when this pathway gets too full, overflows, it actually comes out over the level sill spillway right down there. So the cistern right here has an overflow, which is a little bit hard to see, but it comes out of the bottom of the tank with a standpipe. Standpipe sets the level of the water in the tank.
So again, everything is based off of rainwater harvesting. And I'm loving this because it's showing you that if you do have the rainwater resources, you can really get down and run an entire greenhouse. This guy's running an entire greenhouse off of rainwater.
And it overflows through this pipe on this side of the step right here. And it actually comes under this pathway. So we built a catch basin, which is basically just a complicated word for a hole in the ground that was level with the swale going through the garden here. And you'll notice that the catch basin actually has a little weeping tile sticking out of it right here. And this is where that overflow gets harvested. We've also got the overflow from this swale coming over top of this concrete wall right here, which gets picked up in the same catch basin. And at the bottom of the catch basin, we put in a lens of gravel, which has a high perk rate. Water moves through gravel very quickly. And in that lens of gravel, we put some perforated weeping tile into it. And that perforated weeping tile will pick up all that water and run it at the bottom of the swale trail all the way through this garden here. So again, we're getting that infiltration of water at a very low level, which is encouraging.
So this entire garden is pretty much being supported by the rainwater. Whenever it overflows, it is watering this entire food garden.
The plant roots to go down. And the path itself, because it's made out of mulch, stores an enormous amount of water in the wood itself. Over the years, we've noticed that these paths are basically worm farms. I've never seen so many worms in any one place as in these swale trails. So we're actually propagating worms. And those worms we found are actually shuttling nutrient from the mulch back and forth into the gardens.
So the soil in this guy's yard is probably the most amazing soil, and probably grows the most amazing plants because it's basically alive.
That's why our soil has improved so dramatically. The last place we're bringing water into this garden comes from the west side of the garage. So it comes down this downspout right here, and it enters into this weeping tile, which is the exact same weeping tile as on the other side of the lower tier of this garden. So this will receive another 15 to 16,000 liters of water annually. These gardens pretty much...
So I'm guessing this is somewhere not in the United States, because he keeps talking about liters, maybe Canada.
Do not get any city of Calgary water at all. They're totally passively irrigated by rainwater. And one of the things people don't realize about rainwater is that rainwater actually is where we get about 50% of the nitrogen in our ecosystem because of the interaction with lightning.
So rainwater is like medicine for plants. It's full of beneficial microbes, and it is the right pH, and it has nutrients in it.
And water itself. So it's not just getting hydrated, it's actually getting nutrients as well.
All right, so I'm gonna call this series the Water Defender series, and I'm gonna specifically look for videos that hopefully are good. And so these last two were good, right? We saw some examples of rainwater harvesting in the drylands and rainwater harvesting in, I guess, Calgary, where they obviously get a good amount of water. Yeah, so I'll keep doing videos where we look for good examples. We're not just going to focus on the craziness that is Arizona gardening. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with a friend that you might enjoy this video as well. If you would like to support my work, please consider becoming a Patreon member at www.patreon.com/the Sonoran Desert Grower. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.